From the Opubco Studios in Oklahoma City, you're watching The Press Row. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Barry Trammell. Time for our 5 and 5 segment. Barry, we've got 5 topics, about a minute each for 5 minutes. Let's get right to it with this question. OU spring game on Saturday. Who's the Sooner with the most to gain?
Well, I guess we're going to have to say one of the quarterbacks. I think it's probably Blake Bell for this reason. Bell is for a guy that's run the ball hundreds of times for the Sooners already with the Belldozer, he's the least mobile of the three. So his skills are going to be the most presentable on Saturday because Trevor Knight, Kendall Thompson, they start running around, the whistle's going to blow. So we're really not going to know their effectiveness until the fall when they get into a real game. Blake Bell, he'll run some, he won't run as much as those guys. If he can stand in the pocket and deliver the ball where it needs to go, I think he can make a big gain in gaining that job.
Well, I do think the quarterbacks are going to be important, and those guys do have something to gain. But I'm going to look on the defensive side and look at linebackers. You know, we've heard a lot about change happening with the OU defense. Not exactly sure what the alignment's going to be, what it's going to be like. But I think those linebackers, they were so maligned a year ago, you know, taken all the way out of the defense at one point. So I think a guy like Corey Nelson is going to be somebody who could really make a statement on Saturday. Obviously it's going to, as Barry said, it's going to be hard to tell because of OU's running this new offense with the mobile quarterbacks. Lots going to get blown dead before you see tackles and those sorts of things. Sounds like the running backs, we may not see Damian Williams, may not see Brennan Clay, not going to see Trey Millard. So we're not going to see a lot of the guys that those linebackers should be tracking down and trying to tackle in the spring game. But I think we'll maybe walk away and say, hey, did the linebackers show themselves capable to handle what this new defense looks like? I think those guys have something to prove on Saturday. We'll see how they come through it. All right, true, false, Barry. One more about the OU spring game. Blake Bell will be the starter in the fall. True or false?
I'm going to say true. I'm still not sure, but my confidence is growing, and it goes back to what we know about Bob Stoops, which he has always gone to the more veteran quarterback when he makes a pick. Sometimes he doesn't stay with it. Sometimes Paul Thompson got the start in 2005. Right, Bomar started game 2 and the rest of the year. But I think we'll see Bob go back to what he knows best, which is he goes with the veteran quarterback. And what he said this week is most relevant, which is he's not looking for the guy to make the most plays. He's looking for the guy who makes the fewest mistakes. And that generally becomes your more veteran player.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Blake Bell, too. This is a question that we've talked about many times, whether Blake Bell will be the starter or somebody else. I've said from the beginning I thought he will be. But it is interesting that we sort of haven't heard that any of these guys is really separated from the rest of the group. So I'm not so sure that we don't go into the fall with the question still out there of who the starter is. It doesn't seem like there's any rush to name a starter. They've got 3 guys it sounds like that they like. So I don't know what you think about that, Barry, but I think it's going to be the fall before we hear Blake Bell's the starter.
Yeah, I do too. Mid-August.
All right. Let's go to the Thunder. How about this question, Barry? Is Reggie Jackson the next James Harden?
Well, no, I certainly don't think so. It'd be fabulous if he was, but, the next James Harden is a guy who can score 13, 14, 15 points off the bench for the Thunder and then become an NBA superstar in another market. James Harden is reaching superstar status. I don't see that for Reggie Jackson. I do think he can become a very, very productive player. I think he's already become the next Eric Maynor. He's what the Thunder missed out on the last 2 years before when they had Eric Maynor before the knee injury. And what he is Russell Westbrook light. He attacks the rim, great athletic ability, scores at the basket, doesn't always make the right decisions, but is learning on the job. So Reggie Jackson's not going to be the next Russell Westbrook either, but I think he's a heck of a player, and he's sort of rounding into form just at the right time for the Thunder.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Eric Maynor. I think Reggie Jackson's got a way more diverse skill set than Eric Maynor does. He can crash the boards, he can get in the lane and create for himself or for others. I don't think he's going to be James Harden because I think that's maybe too much of a leap, but I do think you're starting to see some shades of what made James Harden great coming out in Reggie Jackson. So I think the next question is, can he do it in the playoffs? That's where We saw the Thunder go get Derek Fisher a year ago because they didn't think Reggie Jackson could get the job done down the stretch and in the playoffs. Now he's going to be in the playoffs for really the first time. How does he handle that? I don't know. But if he can translate some of what we've seen of late into the playoffs, it makes the Thunder that much better, Barry. I mean, they would be really happy if he was half the contributor that James Harden was a year ago for that team. All right, our fun question of the week, Barry. Thumbs up or thumbs down to One Shining Moment? We all know the song. We all know the highlights package after the NCAA tournament game. You giving it thumbs up or down?
Well, I'm going to have to go thumbs down.
Oh.
Like most things.
That's curmudgeon-y, Barry.
Most things that CBS do, it's way over the top, for crying out loud. It's actually a pretty good song. I don't mind the song. But the longer it goes, the more time that passes over the years, it just seems like it's sort of a CBS shtick, sort of like Jim Nantz talking about the Masters. It's just way over the top. Just a little montage of the title game would have been just fine, but it's just too much for me. It's just too much, and they've tinkered with it over the years. They changed it. Was it last year or the year before? They went with a different version. Everybody got all worked up. I don't know why, but they did. So it's become a little bit of too much of a cottage industry within the tournament. I wouldn't mind seeing it go.
People got fired up because they love it, Barry. They love it. And
you're starting to get reverential in your tone, just like Jim Nantz talking about the Masters. That's what I mean about CBS.
Hey, listen, it's a tradition like no other.
Yeah, lots of things are.
I love One Shining Moment. Maybe that makes me sappy or I don't know what. Probably. But I'm all right with that. I think it's fun to watch the highlights, to relive what happened in the tournament a little bit, things you saw, things you didn't see. To me, it's great fun, and I have no problem with it. One of my memories of covering a Final Four a few years ago was watching the players and coaches all huddled up to watch One Shining Moment in the arena as it played.
Oh, my.
It was fun. Come on, Barry.
Have you ever made one shining moment?
Me?
Yeah, did you ever get in the background?
I bet you're about ready to tell us you have.
Not that I'm aware of. I try not to watch the silly thing.
Not that I know of. Not that I know of. Maybe that should be my new career goal. One Shining Moment. Get on there. All right, lastly, Barry. Who's going to have the better defense in 2013, OU or OSU? This is spurred off a question that I got on a live chat. So what do you think?
I think clearly OSU. I mean, I can't think of why OU would. I mean, they were not very good last year, and they lost eight starters. I mean, OSU's got some things to build on. They got the best set of defensive tackles in the Big 12. Got some strength in the secondary. Good linebacking crew. Knows what they want to do on defense, which is a little bit better than what OU's. OU's doing a lot of tinkering. So I have a lot more confidence in the OSU defense in 2013 than I do the OU defense.
Yeah, me too. And a lot of it. I mean, let's be honest. Both schools are going through change. You got Glenn Spencer, now the defensive coordinator at OSU. How does he change what they do? Do they play their cornerbacks differently? A lot of Oklahoma State fans hope so. Obviously, OU going through changes with their defense. So you don't really know what each defense is going to look like ultimately. But if you just look at personnel returning, I think you got to go with Oklahoma State. There's just so many questions about, who's going to fill roles in the secondary, linebacker, line. I mean, all over the place with the OU defense. OSU, at least you know who you got in a lot of those spots. And when you got guys like Calvin Barnett, Sean Lewis, I know Justin Gilbert had a rough season a year ago, but he has the talent to be really good at cornerback. You got to go with Oklahoma State. How they round into form, we'll see, but at least right now, I like their chances to have a pretty darn good defense. Hey, be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.